大家好，欢迎你回到 CHI 113的频道，我是高老师。今天我们要开始学第三课。第三课说什么？好的，跟我说时间。时间。Hey everybody, this is Gao 老师, and today we're beginning our study of Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. If you follow along the video and do what it asks you to do, you will be able to accomplish the following learning objectives. Number 1, you'll be able to understand and be able to pronounce using the correct tones all of the assigned vocab words from Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. Number 2, you'll be able to read and fully comprehend on your own the dialogue. Number 3, you should have a basic understanding of the dialogue's main grammar points, and there are 3 that we'll be focusing on here in this pre-class video. And finally, you should be able to read and write all of the assigned characters from Lesson 3, Dialogue 1 before our next in-class quiz. 准备好了吗？好的，我们开始吧。Let's begin preparing for the next class by first listening to the audio of our new vocab words from Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. If you'd like to follow along in your textbook, please turn to page 74.
Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. Vocabulary. 1.
9月
September. 2.
月
Month. 3.
12
12. 4.
号
Measure word for number in a series. Day of the month. 5.
星期
Week. 6.
星期四
Thursday. 7.
天
Day. 8.
生日
Birthday.
生
To give birth to. To be born.
日
Day. Sun. Not.
Please go back now and listen to this audio at least 2 to 3 more times, repeating out loud what you hear. Let's now turn to listen to the audio of the assigned portion of Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. To follow along in your textbook, just turn to page 72.
Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. Taking someone out to eat on his or her birthday.
白英爱，9月12号是星期几？
是星期四
那天是我的生日。
是吗？你今年多大
18岁。
Please go back and listen to this portion of the audio at least 2 more times, just to make sure you can fully understand what both speakers are saying. Now it's time to start practicing, really learning those new vocab words from the first part of Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. And one of the best methods to learn new vocab words and to be able to remember them is to use flashcards. So to use flashcards here, all you gotta do is scan the QR code on your screen or click on the link in the description section of this video, and it'll take you directly to Quizlet where you can start practicing our new vocab words from Lesson 3, Dialogue 1. And so the first thing we want to talk about in a bit more detail is numbers, and we'll get a lot more practice with numbers during our class sessions. But here is how numbers first appear in the text. So this character, Gao Wenzhong, he asks, 白银爱, he says, 白银爱, 9月12号是星期几? 12号. So here he's saying the 12th, right? September 12th is what day of the week? So let's look a little bit closer at numbers. So what's great about Chinese is that all double-digit numbers from 1 to 99 are formed by using these characters on your screen. So once you know these 10 characters, you'll be able to count all the way from 1 to 99. So let's practice. 1, you would say 一. 2, you would say 二. 3, you would say 三. 4, you would say 四. 5, you would say 五. 6 is pronounced 六. 7, 七. 8, 八. 9, 九. And 10, 十. Let's continue. If you want to say the numbers 11 to 19, the basic pattern is to put 10 first and then the single digit. Let's practice. So for 13, we would say 13. What about 15? 15. 19? 19. And that's how you can count from 11 to 19. Now, if you want to count by tens from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90, you just put the single digit in front of the word for 10. Let's practice. 20. 中文怎么说? 20. 80. 中文怎么说? 80. 很好. And then for doing any other number from 1 to 99, you would just do the single digit that comes first, followed by 10, and then followed by another single digit. So 27, 中文怎么说? 27. 58, 中文怎么说? 58. And how about 99? 99. Let's practice. Take a few seconds here to see if you can say the following numbers in Chinese. Let's look at the first one. 9. 中文怎么说? 9. 18. 18. 27. 27. 36. 36. 90. 90. And 100. 100. This one's not covered in the textbook, but it's still good to know. For instance, if you wanted to count by hundreds, you would just put the single digit in front of the character for 100. 百. Let's look. For 100, we would say 100. 1 plus 100. And don't forget the tone Sandy rule here too, right? E for 1 is normally pronounced with first tone, but when it's followed by a character that is either first tone, second tone, or third tone, it changes to fourth tone, as in this case. So it would be 100. 900. 中文怎么说? 900. And again, don't forget the tone Sandy rule. 2 third tones in a row. What happens is the first one becomes a second tone. So we've got 900. Let's keep practicing. 101. 中文怎么说? Here you're going to have to know how to say 0, which is 0. So we would say 101. Literally 100, 0, and 1. 110. 中文怎么说? 110. This one's a bit tricky. Don't forget to put e in front of 十 here. 200. Here you could use either r or 两. So we could say 200, or we could say 200. And then finally, 202. Here we would say 202 or 202. One thing to bear in mind here with the number 2 is that if a number is larger than 100, and if it's the first digit on the left, both of them are okay. It could be either r or 两. Otherwise, though, the 2 is always going to be r. Let's go on now to look at the second main point we want to focus on in this part of the dialogue, and that's dates. Here we're going to look at days of the week, months, days of the month, and years. So in the dialogue, again, this appears in the first sentence. It's what Gao Wenzhong says to Bai Ying'ai. So he says, 百应爱9月12号是星期几? So let's look a little bit closer at dates. We'll first start by looking at months. And another great feature of Chinese is once you know how to count from 1 to 12, and you can say the word for month, you can say all of the months of the year. What you do is you simply put the number for the month before the character for month. And the character for month is pronounced 月. So for January, we would say 1月, February, 2月, March, 3月, April, 4月, and so on. So let's practice. How do you think you would say these months in Chinese? 很好. December is the 12th month of the year, so we would say 12月. February, 中文怎么说? Since February is the second month of the year, we would say 2月. What about June? 中文怎么说? June is the 6th month of the year, so we would say 6月. January? January is the first month of the year, so we would say 1月. And finally, October. How would we say that? 10月. October is the 10th month of the year. To say days of the month, you simply put the number in front of the character 号. So, if we wanted to say the first day of the month, we would say 1号. The second day of the month, 2号. The third day of the month, 3号. The fourth day of the month, 4号. And so on. As for days of the week, again, Chinese is pretty intuitive. All you need to know how to say is 星期, meaning week, 星期, followed by the number that corresponds to that day. And remember, one thing important to remember here is that in Chinese, the week starts with Monday. So Monday would be 星期一, 星期一. So here's the pattern. 星期followed by the number that corresponds to the day. The only thing that might get a bit tricky here is when you're saying Sunday. There's two different ways you can say Sunday. We could say 星期天 or 星期日. The main difference is that 星期日 is more formal and often appears in writing. 好，我们来练习. Let's practice. Try saying the following dates in Chinese. And don't forget that dates in Chinese are expressed in the following order. The year comes first, followed by the month, followed by the day of the month, and lastly the day of the week. So Monday, June 6th. 中文怎么说? 6月6号星期一. So it'd be June 1st. June would come first, 6月, followed by the day of the month, the 6th, 6号, and then followed by Monday. 星期一. 好, Friday, December 1st. 中文怎么说? 12月1号星期五. So again, the month comes first, followed by the day of the month, and then followed by the day of the week. And finally, Sunday, February 2nd. 中文怎么说? 2月2号星期天. Or if you wanted to be more formal, you could say 星期日. 好, let's look at date. Let's look at years. So to say a year, you simply put the number in front of the character 年, which means year. For example, we would say, for the first one, we could say 2023年, which would mean 2023. 1957, 中文怎么说? Here we would say 1957年. So for the years, don't forget that each digit is expressed individually. 好，我们来练习. Try saying the following dates in Chinese. Number 1, 1776. 中文怎么说? It would be 1776年. 1949. 中文怎么说? 1949年. 2020. 中文怎么说? 2020年. Now let's briefly talk about how to ask about the dates. And let's first focus on asking about the month. So this is a common way people would ask about the month. You could say, 这个月是几月? Literally, this means this month is which month? 这个月是几月? So if it's September, we would say, 这个月是9月. 很好。好，这个月是几月？这个月是几月？ Here you would say, 这个月是12月 for December. 好，这个月呢？这个月是几月？这个月是几月？ Here you would say, 这个月是2月 February. That's how you ask about the month. But what if you wanted to ask about the day of the month? Well, then you could say, 今天是几号? And 今天 means today. So 今天是几号? So what day of the month is today? What day is it? And you could say, 今天是20号 if it was the 20th. 好，今天是几号？今天是几号？ Here you would say, 今天是16号 for the 16th. And then if you wanted to ask about the day of the week, you could say, 今天是星期几? 今天 meaning today 是星期几? And if today was Tuesday, you would say, 今天是星期二. 好, what if today was Sunday? 今天是星期几? You would say, 今天是星期天. 很好. And then let's bring it all together here to ask in one sentence, what month is it? What day of the month? And what day of the week is it? You could say, 今天, whatever the date is that you're focused on. Let's say it's today. We would say, 今天是几月几号星期几? And if it was Tuesday, March 9th, we would say, 今天是3月9号星期二. Don't forget the order here. Month comes first, followed by the day of the month, and then followed by the day of the week. Let's try one more. 今天是几月几号星期几? Here you would say, 今天是10月10号星期天. Right? So today is October the 10th, Sunday. So again, for additional explanations and examples of these three very, very important grammar points, please do see your textbook, the Integrated Chinese Textbook, pages 76 to 78. So now that we've listened to the audio several times for the vocab words and dialogue and have a pretty good understanding of the main grammar points, it's time now to practice writing the assigned characters for next class's dictation quiz. And before I show you the animated character strokes, I want to remind you all that you can find grid paper to practice writing characters in Canvas when you click on the Modules tab. And the grid paper can serve as a very, very helpful guideline, ensuring that your characters are uniform in size and aesthetically pleasing. So let's go ahead and look at the 10 vocab words that you'll need to know for next class's dictation quiz. And now that you've got a basic understanding of the main grammar points for next class and feel pretty comfortable pronouncing the assigned vocabulary words, using the correct tones of course, and you can read the dialogue on your own and understand what it's saying, now it's time to practice writing the characters for next class session's dictation quiz. So here are the animated words. The first one is 9月, 9月, meaning September. 月, 月, meaning month. 12 12 meaning 12. 号 meaning day of the month. 星期 meaning week. And don't forget, with that X, your tongue should be touching the back of your bottom teeth. 星期天 meaning day. 生日 meaning birthday. In this lesson, we went over a lot of numbers. And so for those of you looking to test your knowledge of numbers, check out this really cool website. It provides you with audio of numbers to test your comprehension from 1 to 100 and beyond. So have fun with it. Just scan the QR code here on the slide or click on the link in the descriptions of this video. And once you feel comfortable with the vocab words, characters, and grammar points from the first part of Lesson 3, Dialogue 1, don't forget to take the pre-class practice quiz in Canvas before our next class session. 好的，谢谢大家，下次见，再见。